Don in London, hello. It's February the 7th, 2009. My video is all about recovery from either addiction to substance or behaviour. And anybody out there who has been an addict or is in recovery from addiction to substance or behaviour knows just how hard it is. And that life keeps on happening a day at a time. And the gift of recovery, if you like, is a double-edged sword. Some of the time it's good and some of the time it's bad. Some of the time it's absolutely wonderful, and some of the time it's absolutely depressing. So it can be all or nothing, and it often is for us who have been in addiction when it comes to recovery, because we're still trying to get our senses back. And if it's taken a long time to recognise the addictions, then it can take a long time to find some sort of peace of mind. And when we're feeling a struggle inside us about how to be or who we are, we try and grasp and find an identity that we can live with long enough to get some more recovery time. And that's the absolute gift for me when I go to the fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't speak for AA, I just speak for me and my recovery and how I'm doing on a daily basis, and share some of the wisdom, experience, strength and hope I get along the way. And part of that, I try to slow myself down into the moment of now, which is just trying to be here, present in this one moment, and make it count for me. And the way I do that is sharing. And at the beginning of every meeting of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, I go to, there is a preamble, and it helps me slow down and understand what I'm trying to do on a daily basis. And it goes like this: Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes, and it certainly doesn't endorse or oppose my videos as a body, although some people are for them and some people are against them. That's just the way of life. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And that's partly what I do here. So there is a selfish motive in what I'm doing. It's to get me centred in each time I wake up, to ask myself, how am I feeling today? Why? What can I do? And at the moment I've been through the hoops, if you like, the ups and downs of life. And that is being a part of life, living, society, community, in a relationship, out of a relationship. And what happens as we go along, we fill ourselves with things which are important to us, which we love. And then sometimes that love or that relationship fails. And I guess what we need to learn is that there is no blame attached, and that if we're involved with people who are in recovery, we are simply in recovery a day at a time. And we're dealing with quite a lot of things going on. So I use or utilise the literature of AA, the 12 steps and 12 traditions. The 12 steps is an action programme for recovery, the 12 traditions about the fellowship and how it holds itself together without us arguing, if you like, or falling out. But the trouble is, as human beings, we will fall out from time to time. It's just the way of life. And I use this book, the Daily Reflections, as well. And in the Daily Reflections, each month it focuses on one of the 12 steps of action and one of the 12 traditions. So it's almost like it's listening to the stories and wisdom of other people always, which gives me a guide to what is going on inside me. And, you know, we are so similar in our addictions, yet so different. We are all unique, authentic people, and that's simply the way it is, because we're all on our own personal journey. And we have to balance our personal journey with the people around us and how we actually connect with other people outside fellowship, in our family, society and community. And the best way, obviously, for me only, and maybe for many more, is to be sober, so we can keep on learning how to be ourselves and also how to be with other people. And it's most important, because otherwise we become selfish and self-obsessed. And why do I do these videos? To avoid being selfish and self-obsessed, and to see how other people are dealing with their recovery. And I get a lot of mail, and sponsorship is coming up as a concern at the moment for one or two people I know, and also people I know around here. And sponsorship really is something where we rely on the other person to give us a bit of guidance on a one-to-one basis. But always we need to lean hard on the fellowship as the multitude of people who go, share experience, strength and hope in meetings, and make life work one day at a time. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's joyful, and sometimes it's sad. Almost like a poem there. But I'll just read a bit from the daily reflections for today. Don't forget it's about step 2. And, well, before I do that, I'll just cover step 2 very briefly again, because it's really important. Step 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. What can we believe in? AA does not demand belief. 12 steps are only suggestions. Importance of an open mind. Variety of ways to faith. Substitution of AA as a higher power? Well, I don't know. There are so many higher powers. I just need to listen to them and see them and hear the wisdom and make some use of it. Plight of the disillusioned. Anybody who's coming into recovery has almost certainly given up on life. Roadblocks of indifference and prejudice. We have indifference inside us for ourselves, so how can we cherish others? Prejudice against ourselves, so we're judging the world as we judge ourselves too. Lost faith found in AA. Well, I've got my faith back in human nature, mine and others, and that we're all on the same path, and we're all equal, and we all are very capable of making good or bad choices. Problems of intellectuality and self-sufficiency. Well, we thought ourselves into addiction. Now we feel our way out. So my best thinking got me into AA. My best feelings keep me on the sober path. Defiance is an outstanding characteristic of alcoholics. So for what I say here, there'll be a multitude of people who say, I don't agree with that. And why not? That's just the way it is. Step 2 is a rallying point to sanity, right relation to God, or in my case, good conscience and the truth. And, the truth for me does very well, the absolute truth, not my truth, not your truth, but the absolute truth of now. That's what works. Daily reflections for today, a path to faith. True humility and an open mind can lead us to faith, and every AA meeting is an assurance that God will restore us to sanity if we rightly relate ourselves to Him. And as I say, God and my relationship to God is truth of now. My last drunk had landed me in hospital, totally broken. It was then that I was able to see my past float in front of me. I tried to realise that, through drinking, I had lived every nightmare I'd ever had. My own self-will and obsession to drink had driven me into a dark pit of hallucinations, blackouts and despair. Finally beaten, I asked for God's help. His presence told me to believe. My obsession for alcohol was taken away, and my paranoia has since been lifted. I am no longer afraid. I know my life is healthy and safe. Well, mine is on a daily basis, and some of the things it says there. My own self-will and obsession to drink had driven me into a dark pit of hallucinations. Well, I didn't have hallucinations because I was in blackout, or maybe I just can't remember. But, it was a living nightmare, and I didn't know how to get out of it. And I was so against AA because it was actually the solution, and I just didn't want one. I just didn't want to live anymore. And that's the awful truth of what addiction does. We get to a place where either we jump off a bridge or we just jump off out of life completely. And I don't know how many times I felt that way, but some strand inside me, maybe it was just self-preservation, said other people know the answers, and my awakening to whatever is spiritual, which is in the moment of now for me, and as God is truth, that is what works, just for me. And I wouldn't want to. There's a big word in AA, it's called proselytize. And proselytize is the speaking of faith and belief as if it were the truth. And the actual answer is, don't proselytize anything. Let people find their own faith and their own truth and their own God as they understand them. And there is no substitute, in my opinion, for finding our own way. We cannot impose it on others. I've learned that in the last few months, that even though I might have a bit of sanity, it's only worth anything to me. And if I have anything going on in my life where I start to judge and criticise others, I'm not getting my way, and my self-will is coming back, and I can become obsessed. So step 2, the rallying point, which is sanity, is restoring ourselves to a place where we understand that life need not ever be the same again, and that we can step out of the madness. And that prayer, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference will keep me alive just one more day.